Guild Wars 2 has stood out in the MMO world since its launch in 2012, and in 2025, it continues to feel fresh and relevant despite being over a decade old. Where many MMOs fade away or cling desperately to outdated systems, Guild Wars 2 has managed to evolve gracefully by embracing a philosophy of horizontal progression. Instead of forcing players onto a never-ending treadmill of new gear and higher levels, it has built a world where everything you've earned remains valuable, and the journey is about expanding possibilities rather than replacing what came before. This approach has allowed the game to grow steadily year after year. In 2024, the Janthir Wilds expansion brought with it a change of pace, moving away from the increasingly grandiose stakes of previous expansions to a more grounded and natural setting. Lush wilderness zones filled with wildlife, including the new Kodan bear-like race, created a sense of immersion and discovery. This expansion also introduced one of the most highly requested features in the game's history, player housing. Through the new homesteading mastery system, players could finally build and decorate homes, giving them a new way to express themselves alongside their characters and legendary weapons. Housing immediately felt at home within Guild Wars 2's design because cosmetics and achievements have always been central to the game's progression. The expansion also overhauled mounts, especially the Warclaw, can now be used with unique abilities that interact with the environment. Even more transformative was the arrival of land spears, a new weapon type accessible to every class. Previously confined to underwater combat, spears now offer dynamic and versatile playstyles on land, breathing fresh life into combat builds and strategies. In October 2025, Visions of Eternity will launch, promising to be the most ambitious expansion Guild Wars 2 has seen in years. It takes players to a tropical, magical island, while the skimmer mount will be reworked to glide, dive, and soar through the water and sky in ways it never could before. A new homestead area and fresh legendary weapons will also be part of the package. However, the true centerpiece of this expansion is the return of elite specializations. These subclasses were once a staple of earlier expansions and are beloved for how dramatically they alter each profession's playstyle. After a period where smaller yearly expansions focused on simpler features like new weapon choices, players are thrilled to see elite specializations make a comeback. The announcement of these new specs has reignited excitement throughout the community. During recent beta events, Guild Wars 2 saw a record surge in players, with participation even exceeding that of past expansion launches. The buzz has been so strong that many who skipped the last couple of years of content are now returning, eager to experience what these new builds bring. Alongside these elite specs, the expansion will introduce quality-of-life improvements, like fashion templates and streamlined group finding systems. Matchmaking for Tier 1 fractals, for example, now makes it much easier for newcomers and casual players to jump into group content while earning enticing rewards like customizable legendary gloves. Players from other major games like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV have grown frustrated with formulaic update cycles and vertical progression systems that constantly invalidate past achievements. Many are turning to Guild Wars 2, drawn by its unique philosophy. Once you reach level 80 and acquire max-level gear, you never have to replace it unless you want to. Taking a break from the game doesn't mean falling behind. You can return months or even years later and jump right back into current content without missing a beat. The mastery system is the heart of this philosophy. It provides account-wide progression that enhances how you interact with the world, rather than making you grind for higher numbers. Masteries unlock game-changing abilities like gliding, flying mounts, sailing, fishing, and now, homestead crafting. With over 30 mastery tracks and hundreds of points to earn, this system ensures that even after hitting level cap, there are always meaningful goals to pursue. This design means that no part of the game world ever becomes obsolete. Dynamic events are still populated, and even zones from the 2012 base game are busy today because players need resources, achievements, or currencies tied to those areas. For new players starting in 2025, the journey begins in a way that's both welcoming and expansive. The base game is free, offering hundreds of hours of story and exploration without spending a dime. The character creation process lets you choose from 5 races and 9 professions, including the Revenant if you own certain expansions. From the start, Guild Wars 2 encourages exploration and interaction rather than following static quest lines. Instead of picking up traditional quests, you'll encounter dynamic events that occur naturally in the world. Helping a farmer, defending a village, or fighting off a massive dragon can all happen organically as you explore. The only structured questline is your personal story, which evolves based on choices you make early on. Combat reflects this same dynamic philosophy. Rather than relying solely on tab targeting, the game blends action elements like dodging, aiming, and positioning with traditional MMO skills. Your weapon determines part of your skill bar, while the rest is customizable, allowing for creative builds. Elite specializations and the introduction of new weapons like land spears have kept combat fresh and exciting over the years. Mounts, too, are a standout feature. Since their introduction with the Path of Fire expansion, mounts have been designed with unique abilities that make exploration thrilling. Raptors leap across canyons, springers jump to towering heights, skimmers glide across water, and the Skyscale offers true flight. These aren't just cosmetic additions, they fundamentally change how you traverse Tyria. The game's community has always been one of its strengths. Cooperation is built into its design. Players don't compete for kills or resources. Everyone who participates earns full credit. This eliminates a lot of the toxicity seen in other MMOs and makes the world feel more welcoming. Guilds play a central role, and you can belong to up to 5 at once. World versus World remains a hallmark mode, offering massive battles across sprawling maps where teams fight for territory using siege weapons and strategy. ArenaNet is in the process of restructuring this system, moving away from static server matchups to flexible alliances that group guilds together and balance populations dynamically. ArenaNet's recent marketing efforts have also helped fuel the game's resurgence. Twitch drops, partnerships with popular streamers, and appearances at major gaming events have brought new attention to Guild Wars 2. Influencers showcasing the game to large audiences have reminded many players just how vibrant and alive Tyria still is. Monetization remains one of Guild Wars 2's most player-friendly aspects. The base game is entirely free, expansions are reasonably priced, and even premium currency can be earned through gameplay by trading gold for gems. There is no pay-to-win, and all shop items are cosmetic. This approach ensures that progression is fair and accessible while still providing revenue to support ongoing development. Despite being over a decade old, Guild Wars 2's player base is thriving. Estimates suggest that hundreds of thousands of players log in daily across North America and Europe, and the mega server system ensures that even older zones stay active and lively. ArenaNet's low server costs and continued support make it highly unlikely the game will shut down anytime soon. Guild Wars 1, for example, remains online even though it hasn't received updates since 2011, showing ArenaNet's commitment to maintaining its worlds. As Guild Wars 2 heads toward its next chapter with Guild Wars 3 somewhere on the horizon, the current game shows no signs of slowing down. The combination of a massive backlog of content, a new expansion filled with exciting features, and a welcoming community make 2025 one of the best times ever to jump in. Whether you are a brand new adventurer setting foot in Tyria for the first time or a veteran returning after years away, you'll find a world ready to explore, with no pressure to grind and no fear of falling behind. In 2025, it remains one of the most player-friendly and engaging games in the genre, offering both epic adventures and quiet moments of personal expression.